is the 29th day of September 2025 and it is Monday. On that note, I welcome you to this morning edition of Sport Talk on Atlantic Television Network. My name is Emmanuel Mike and I'm glad to be here this morning to take you through the world of sport. Top on our menu this morning, Abia State welcomes a contingent from Maiden International Para Badminton Championship. Coming in from the world of basketball, Rivers Hoopers launch playoff push with dominant win. And in the world of football, two Nigerian clubs exit a CAF inter-club competition. Details of this and many more will be yours after this time out. All right, you're welcome back from that short break. Joining me this morning via the Zoom, app is Mr. Mbakalo. He's a former, Enyimba international player, and of course, one man who have traveled far and wide in the business of, football. He joins us this morning. Mr. Mbakalo, good morning, and thanks for joining us on Atlantic Television Network.
Thank you, Mr. Michael. Morning. How are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm okay. You are looking good.
Thank you.
All right, let's get started from the home scene talking about basketball because something good is happening with Rivers Hoopers. Reigning champions Rivers Hoopers tipped off phase 2 of the Nigerian Basketball Premier League with a gritty 67-58 win over Hoops and Red right here in Port Harcourt. Kingsmen started strong with captain Victor Koko and Victor Sunday combining for early park, though Hoops and Red fought back. Buchi Nwamu's dominance in the paint pushed the Hoopers into halftime with an 8-point lead. The visitors tied it up in the third, forcing coach Ogo Daoud to call timeout, of course, in that very one. But then they were able to hold on and go through and beat Hoops and Red. Mr. Mbakalu, I know you are very close to Rivers Hoopers, and of course, you know how impressive they've been in the Nigerian basketball league here. Another statement win for them yesterday. Hello, Mr. Mbakalu, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, right here.
All right, I'm talking about Rivers Hoopers. I was saying you are very close to some of these players and close to the team. How do you, see their victory yesterday against Hoops and Red?
Well, Rivers Hoopers, they've been doing well so far, and their success has always been very progressive. And the win yesterday was a very good one. I think to boost their chances in most competitions. And it's a very good one. And, basketball is coming of age. You could remember last time they won, and I think the governor did very well with them. And I think it's a very good one. That boosts their chances of in their progressive games,
All right, a good one for Rivers Hoopers. We hope they can, of course, build on this victory against Hoops and Red going forward. But then let's move over to Abia State, because the Abia State Commissioner for Sport, Mr. Ngobilo Ananaba, has confirmed that 150 athletes from 14 countries will compete in the first Abia Para Badminton International Championship and the All-African Para Badminton Championship in Umuahia. Speaking through the governor's special assistant on sports, Mr. Raymond Okwa, the commissioner praised Governor Alex Oti for backing the event, noting that hosting the tournament reflects the state's governor's commitment to sport development. Additionally, the president of the Badminton Federation of Nigeria, Mr. Francis Obi, stated that in addition to the two championships, the Para Badminton workshop will be held for coaches and players. He noted that both players and coaches from other African countries have arrived to participate in the tournament and workshop. 14 countries have arrived in Abia State for the first International Para Badminton Championship and All African Badminton Championship taking place in Umuahia, the state capital. The countries include Brazil, India, Peru, Cameroon, Benin Republic, Tunisia, Mauritius, Rwanda, Egypt, and Zimbabwe, among others. So Abia State is going to host more than 14 countries for the big event, talking about para badminton, and I think it's a good one for Abia State. They can also, of course, continue to develop that area for sport to give them that comparative advantage ahead of other states. And of course, working in tandem with the Para Badminton Federation to ensure that, of course, they achieve a massive success. But I know you are not that ardent lover of para badminton, but then once in a while you, of course, get to follow para badminton. Umuahia, Abia State, they are also taking a progressive step toward ensuring that they make a para badminton a mainstay in their sporting calendar. How do you see them, hosting the rest of 14 other countries? Do you think that they have what it takes?
Well, for you to accept holding such an event, it means that you're probably ready. And remember, we have these delegates that always come to inspect facilities, you know. So if it has been approved and it's going to take place, they are very capable. And you know what it takes. It's not just a local scene, but you can see it's an intercontinental event, you know. So it's a very good one. If you ask me, I think they are very capable for them to have gone to all this to being in that level and acceptance. I think they are in good shape to carry on.
But I can tell you that some big countries have started arriving. Umahia, the capital of Abia State, ahead of this massive showdown. And of course, we believe that Abia State, they have, put everything right on ground to ensure that they have a very smooth and a very successful hosting of the para badminton and other 14 other countries rather that is, of course, built to take part in this very one. Away from that, captain of Nigeria's male cricket team, Sylvester Okpe, has attributed the team's 117-wicket loss to Namibia in the 2026 ICC Men's T20 World Cup African qualifier match on Sunday to their bowling execution. After an impressive opening win against Malawi last Friday, the Yellow Greens faced a tough outing in their second group match, falling to Namibia 117 runs at the Harare Sports Club, Zimbabwe. Speaking, after the match, Okpe acknowledged Namibia's quality but expressed confidence in the squad's ability to bounce back after that defeat. The Yellow Greens will now turn their attention to the final group game against Kenya as they continue their quest for qualification. A win against Kenya would be enough to, of course, see them progress through into the semi-final. All right, more stories coming your way, as we leave that angular history to the world of, table tennis, because Nigeria's table tennis star Haruna Quadri was eliminated from the WTT China's match on Sunday after a 3-0 loss to Denmark's Anderlind. The world number 14 sent the highest-ranked African player packing in the round of 64 after edging him in 3 sets. Mbakalu, let me come back to you. Haruna Quadri, he is the highest-ranked African player, but then he has been eliminated, of course, in the round of 64. Of late, Haruna Quadri has found it very difficult to, of course, be that impressive the way we know him of. But then, I think, I don't know what you make of his gradual decline in terms of form. Do you think that the age factor might be the missing link?
Yeah, well, in every sport, age is paramount, and sports is not forever. This comes up after a certain period of time in the game. So if you ask me, he has gotten to his peak, and where he is now, I think, like we always say, it's always good to say goodbye when the ovation is high, So I think he has done his best, and you have seen his profile. So if you ask me, I think it's time for him to draw the curtain. And not because he has lost, but no, he has been in the game for a very long time.
Yeah.
And that's the only African hero on this particular part of sports. So I think he has done well. And, I think it's time to say goodbye, if you ask me.
Time for Haruna Quadri to say goodbye to the game that have made him so popular, because I tell you, age might just possibly be telling on him as he's no longer firing from all cylinder like we know him. Talking about Haruna Quadri, he's been getting eliminated, in the first or even the second phase of any major competition so far this year. But let's leave that aside and head straight to the world of long tennis this morning, because we can tell you that Carlos Alcaraz marched into the semi-final of the Japan Open with an imperious 6-2, 6-4 victory over Brandon Nakashima in Tokyo. A Spanish top seed fired 39 winners and never faced a break point as he pushed aside the American, dismissing any lingering concern about an ankle injury he sustained in the opening round. The world #1 will now face Norwegian 4th seed Kasper Ruud in a semi-final on Monday. That is early today, as he aims to earn an ATP title of an astonishing season. Elsewhere, Corey Coco Gauff became more problems with her serve to edge past Lila Fernandez in the third round of the China Open in Beijing. Gauff would meet Swiss 15 seed Belina Bencic in the last 16 of the WTA 1000 event on Tuesday. Great Britain's Emma Raducanu will play American 5th seed Jessica Pegula in the peak of today's counter, while Sonia Cattell faces a rising Australian teenager Maya Joint in that very one. Impressive show for the likes of Carlos Alcaraz and of course Belina Bencic, not also forgetting Corey Coco Gauff, from the world of long tennis, as the Japan Open continue to make some headlines out there. But at this point, I beg to take a quick break. When I'm back, we'll dive straight to the world of football. Football. Don't go anywhere, because I'll be back in a jiffy. right, you're welcome back from that short break, and you are on to Atlantic Television Network Sport Talk this morning, where we are here bringing you up to speed with the latest happenings in the ever-busy world of sport. And I'm back. Carlo, former Enyimba international player, is with me via the Zoom line this morning. And of course, let's take you through the world of football, but we are going to start from the home scene. As former Nigerian Premier League champion, 3SC grabbed their second consecutive win of the 2025-2026 season by beating Warri Wolves 2-1 in a match day 6 game in Uzoro yesterday. The victory follows their last week's win at home over newly promoted side Kun Khalifa FC. They now have moved. They have now moved the 6th position on the league table with 8 points after 6 games. In the table of new boys in Aba, Kun Khalifa suffered another defeat at home in the hands of Barau FC, who claimed a 3-1 win over their first of the season. Rather, meanwhile, Nasarawa United moved to the top of the table with 13 points after a 2-0 win against Katsina United. Last season's top scorer, Anas Yusuf, scored a solid minus first goal on the stroke of a halftime, and Abubakar Abdullahi doubled the advantage in the 73rd minute. In Lagos, Enyimba played 1-1 draw against Ikorodu City, remaining 1 point behind leaders Nasarawa United, while Rangers International and Wiki Tourists also played out a thrilling 2-2 draw. In Bauchi, the result wasn't enough to get Rangers out of the relegation zone with just a 5 point from as many games so far. Barau FC and the Kano Pillars also rock the bottom table in that very order. Mbakalo, let's focus about your former side, Enyimba. They failed to get all 3 points. Courtesy of that, they are now displaced from the league table. Do you see them, rediscovering their form in their next game, or you think maybe, just maybe, they are no longer there?
Well, they are in continental race as I speak to you.
Yeah.
And, when you are playing the MPFL League and you're also running intercontinental race, you will always have that sort of imbalance because you seem to lose a little bit on concentration on the MPFL side. So I think that's what is going on. But maybe they are not doing bad if you're asking me, because you can see they are second in the table, right?
Yeah.
So you see they just have Nasarawa United just has 1 point ahead of them, while Enyimba still is 12 points second position. Niger Tornadoes with 9 points and Katsina United with 9 points. Rivers United are the 8th point, So you know that this time on the league, Enyimba is really trying to do well because they are not in the continental race this season. So they are fighting hard to be able to come back with a very big serious margin this season, knowing that Stanley Eguma remains their coach, So, and this is the first time you can see that Enyimba narrowly escaped the continental race because they are the most capped Nigeria continental club side here in Nigeria. So they are fighting hard to be able to come back to the race.
Fighting hard to come back to the race for Enyimba. But then let's stick with your former club, Enyimba International. Last season was one to forget for the people's elephant. But this season, it looks as though the narrative have changed. We saw the governor of the state, attending their match last week. And of course, they fell 1-0 in the first half, but they had to bounce back to win that game 3-1. And of course, the governor and his entourage were very happy about that. So it looks as though they are beginning to receive the kind of support from the governor that we saw of Oji Uzokali in 2023. 2003, 2004, rather, when Enyimba won the CAF Champions League. Is this the case? That is why the governor had to come to the stadium to watch them live?
Well, I always tell you, football without motivation is not a good one. So you can see that the governor is having all the time to be in the stadium to watch them, and that defeat was a very big one. In MPFL, it's not always easy when you're down and you pull back your way for you to be able to have a defeat. And I think that was a very good one. It pains a lot when the big shoe comes to the stadium and his home side, a home match, and he loses that match. It's not always a very good motivational way also to the government. So his presence gave them that morale for them to be able to come back and win their opponent. So it's a good one. And when your sponsor, that is the government, comes to the stadium, you know what it takes. And I learned he gave them a very big bonus for that match. That was a very big one. So when you see him in the stadium, you should know that you are not going back home empty-handed. So that match he actually attended. I think I learned I think he said in every match they score is going to be 10 million naira. So you can see outside their match bonus, they went home with 30 million naira. So that was a very good one and the motivational factor for them. These are things you want. It's not a private club. This is the only way you can motivate these guys, and they will give you their best.
All right, still talking about Enyimba. Last season there were so many outcry from the fans out there that the sporting director Ifeanyi Ekweme, and of course the new man at the helm of affairs, the chairman Papilo Kanwankwo. Last season there were so many criticism regarding his leadership, and some say that he has not been able to, bring his wealth of experience to bear in terms of the management of the club. What has changed between last season that was very poor for them and this season?
Well, any team without winning, the most painful part is that Enyimba fans expected this Enyimba Football Club to be at the continental race. And, right now as I speak to you, they are not in the continental race. So it pains a lot. And based on Ifeanyi Ekweme's experience, and he has been given that assignment to take care with Kanwankwo to see how Enyimba will be well uplifted. And if they failed last season because this season they are not in the continental race. So it's a very big one. The fans will be worried. And I also want to let you know, when you're always in the continental race, it gives you edges in terms of continents in the continental race. So if you ask me at this point, the fans are not happy that this season they are not in the continental race. So Ekweme and his management, they are doing everything possible to make sure they stay tight on the MPFA league table for them to be able to, be at the continental race by next season. And that's one of the optimist motive and assignment that any management will be able to succeed. And we will assume that you have done well in the season's matches.
All right, moving on. Rivers United booked a place in the second qualifying round of the CAF Champions League after a 1-0 win over Les Angels of the Congo Republic at the Gosla Pabio International Stadium in Uyo yesterday. Finidi George's side dominated the opening exchanges, but had to wait until late in the first half to score the winning goal. Stephen Mayo fired home from inside the box on the stroke of halftime. Meanwhile, Rivers United advanced to the second round with 1-0 aggregate win. The Port Harcourt-based club will face Mozambican champion Black Bulls in the next round. Coach Finidi George also, spoke to the press, and of course, he shared his thought regarding that very game and what lies ahead of them. Mr. Mba, you were there at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium yesterday. I don't know if you are back from Uyo or you are still enjoying yourself there. But then, let's talk about the match. How, will you assess the performance of Rivers United in that match yesterday and juxtapose that with their next opponent? Do you think that with what you saw yesterday against the Congolese side, Rivers United have what it takes to go through to the next round?
Yes, well, recently they've been in the continental race, but as I speak to you, the match I saw yesterday wasn't a very bad one, but they lack one problem, which they need to see how they go about it. They don't have that strikers, that smart strikers, because if you ask me what I saw yesterday, they lost about 4 to 5 very clear chances, opportunities that they missed. And any smart attacker, any club that has intelligent attackers, they will be able to score this goal, because the goalkeeper was out of the post about 2-3 times feet, and a very intelligent player will always chip this ball across the goalkeeper. But they failed, So I think the major problem of Rivers United is that they don't have smart attackers, and I mean, that's the problem. But generally, they did well in the playing. And remember that their opponent, this is their first time of being in the continental race. So that experience, they don't really have it. And if you watch them, they have chances anyway, but they couldn't convert it. I mean, a very open and clear chances, they could not convert it. So if it's a club like StarTimes, I mean, they waste no time in converting these chances. So I think what really got this Angels, the club, they lack in experience. They lack experience in this game. So that was what happened. But Rivers United yesterday, the stadium was filled, was really booming with fans. You know how it is when you win this game, and they have qualified for the second entrance into the Champions League, CAF Champions League. So it's a very good one, but they need to work hard. They have the strength. The tactical play is there, but they lack scoring chances and conversion of the left chances they get in the game. For you to get to CAF Champions League, it means everything has to be in place. So that is just the department they are lacking, if you ask me. But for the match yesterday, it was a good one. We were all happy, and so much jubilations. And I mean, you know what it means. Many dignitaries were there. Paris Saint-Germain was in the stadium, so on and so forth. China Cheru was there. I mean, top journalists in Port Harcourt, they came to cheer their fans up, and Bola Ige, Faith, the former media officer of the national. I mean, everything was really doing well. We were all there, and it was a good one. But you saw how the goal came, if you ask me. That was a very slim chance, and if not for the fault of the goalkeeper, Rivers United wouldn't have converted that goal, because it was a free kick that flipped out of the goalkeeper's hand, and the attacker was so fast enough to use his head to put it inside the net. So if not for that, I don't know where Rivers United would have been. Maybe that game would have ended in a penalty. So we are happy they've moved to the next round.
Happy that Rivers United have moved to the next round, but then a lot of work to be done by Coach Finidi George. He needs to judge right in terms of his attacking force, because the attackers, they are not firing from all cylinders. This is the same challenge that they faced last time out as well, last season especially, where they find it very difficult, to score goals. But we hope that Finidi George have been able to look into some of those areas and see how to correct them going forward, because I tell you need to have clinical strikers for you to win titles, for you to win matches. You need to have sharp attackers that, if given 3 opportunity, he can convert at least 2 out of those 3. Meanwhile, Nigerian representative in the CAF Confederations Cup, Kwara United and Abia Warriors were eliminated from the competition on Sunday, following failing to scale the first preliminary round. Kwara United were dumped out in Abeokuta by Ghanaian champion Asante Kotoko, while Abia Warriors bowed out to Mali outfit Joliba FC in Bamako. Adapting to the MKO Abiola Sport Arena as their home ground, Kwara United needed to overturn a 4-3 defeat from the first leg, which was played last week, but fell against Kotoko, who beat them 1-0 to seal a 5-3 aggregate win. Following a 1-all draw in the first leg in Uyo, Joliba FC finished the job at the home side, against the Abia Warriors, beating the Nigerian side 1-0 in the return fixture and progressed 2-1 on the aggregate. So Mr. Mba was more like a mixed result for Nigerian club side in the CAF competition and the CAF Confederations Cup. For Kwara United, they enjoyed a whole lot of praise after the first leg because they went away from home. They lost, but though it was 4-3, they needed just a goal back here at home to seal their qualification to the next round. But then they failed to the firepower of Ashanti Kotoko. Where did it all went wrong for Kwara United after the gallant fight away from home? But at home, they failed to do the needful.
If you ask me, as the league stands now, the MPFL league, our league, if you ask me, is poorly rated because it has always been difficult. Nigerian club side moving to the second round, if not for Rivers United and clubs like Enyimba Football Club. So I had seen that Kwara United, they fought hard, Ghana, their first leg. If you can score somebody in a way for 3 goals, I mean, back home here, it's expected that you buckle up your defense, and just like you said, a goal would have seen them through, but it was very, very impossible. So I can't really tell what went wrong, but they were not able to stand the test of time, talking about in their home match here. So that was a very big blow to the club. It's not a good one because, like I said, if you can score 3 goals away, at least you should be able to have a goal here in your home. But they failed to do that, and they've crashed that. Remember, CAF is also rating the Nigerian club side. If out of 4, 2 is already out at the first round. I mean, that is not a good one for the league. Look at South African clubs, and I think almost 4 of them, they've qualified for the second round. So I think we need to do more work in our MPFL because what I see in Nigerian league that we lack strikers because once a striker, maybe you have a high goal scorer at the end of the season, at the beginning of the next season, you will see that the striker has left the club here. Either they're in one of the African countries or they've gone to Europe. So it's really affecting us because some of the Moroccan club and the Algerian club, look at their strikers. They spend 3 to 4 years. Most times they spend all their time in playing in their local league, and they come up strong when they come to continental. I'm not saying if our boys have the opportunity of moving to Europe, they shouldn't. But it's a good one because their financial status will be lifted. So Kwara United, they really, we are. In fact, it was unexpected. I never believed that. For those with the white paper, I think they've lost so much. Thank you.
Those with a white paper wasn't a good one for them because most of them will be licking their wounds because having fought gallantly away from home to score 3 goals, they needed just a goal back home here to finish the job, but then they fell to the firepower of their opponent. Abia Warriors as well. Also, after failing to win back home here, they went away from home against Joliba FC, and they lost that very one. And they are out. 2 Nigerian clubs are out, remaining 2 in the CAF Champions League. That is Remo Stars and, of course, Rivers United. But then, We'll see how these two can be able to go far in the competition, talking about the CAF Champions League. Away from that, Flying Eagles captain Daniel Bamiye says the team's target at the 2025 FIFA Under-20 World Cup in Chile is to end Nigeria's agonizing wait for the title as they begin their campaign against Norway. Later today, Nigeria will be making their 14th appearance at the tournament in Chile, the most by any African country, but they have never won the title. Ghana are the only team from Africa to have won the tournament with their rich experience. The Flying Eagles are two-time runner-up and a quarter-finalist, and most recently, as well in 2023 rather, where they also got to the quarter-final. Since reaching the final in 2005, the Flying Eagles have never gone beyond the quarter-final stage, but Bamiye believes that it is about to end. And of course, yeah, also talking tough. Mbakalo, the Under-20, they are prime ready for this year's Under-20 World Cup. They will be kicking off that journey today against Norway. We have never won this tournament. Ghana remains the only African country to have broken that jinx. This year, the captain of the side alongside the coach and his teammate, they believe that this year could end that long-awaited trophy. Do you see the Flying Eagles breaking that jinx?
Well, if you ask me, I will tell you that there's going to be success because just like you said, for quite some time, we've not even had the title for the fourth time. So if you ask me, I think they are fully prepared and they are going to do their best. It will not be like some other time when we cannot move forward on that. And remember, at the junior level of the World Cup, Nigeria has not really been up to what we know them like. We talked about the Dama Miracle. Things like that, we are not seeing those surprises any longer. So it's a very, we need to work hard this time. And I assure you that the coach has really done a very big work. So I think at the end of today, we start judging what we have on our table.
All right, let's leave that aside and head straight to Europe because there were some interesting results, shocking ones per se, across Europe in the top 5 leagues out there, down from Italy, down to Germany, Spain, England. A whole lot of surprising results, especially in the English Premier League. But then Arsenal snatched a dramatic 2-1 victory over Newcastle United at St. James Park on Sunday, with Gabriel Magalhaes heading home the winner deep into stoppage time. Newcastle has taken the lead in the 34th minute through Nick Woltemade before Mikel Moreno equalized late in the 84th minute. Despite dominating large parts of the game and seeing a penalty overturned by VAR, Arsenal's persistence paid off when Gabriel struck from Martin Odegaard's corner in the 96th minute in that particular match. Bakalo, yesterday looks more like a day that Arsenal was going to drop a point again, but then they had to leave it late to get all 3 points. What do you make of Arsenal and Mikel Arteta's side this season? From what you've seen in the 5-6 games right now, do you think that Arsenal are truly a title contender this season?
Well, if you look at Arsenal's 2-3 seasons, you'll find out that at the beginning of the season, they seems to be in the race, but towards the end of the season, you see just a very slim margin, Arsenal will lose that top flight of getting the trophy. That has been Arsenal's problem. But we cannot judge them as early as possible because the league just started. I pray they keep the tempo because Arsenal fans, they are really at the heat of it. They want to win that trophy. You and I know the last time Arsenal won trophy in that club. So I think they have started well. I pray they keep the tempo. As of the match yesterday, well, they snatched that 3-0, that 3 points towards the end of the game. The first goal came at the 88th minute, and they had the winning goal at 6 minutes extra time, and that was a done deal for Arsenal. So they almost escaped that one point they would have had. So, well, it's a very good one for Arteta. I pray they keep up to the race, and if they won't fall out at the middle of it, you know, when these competitions continentally starts, it gives them a very big headache, and I pray they're able to meet up to the test of time on the league table. That's just my concern.
We pray that Arsenal is able to meet up with the terms in the league table, but then it goes beyond prayer this time around. It's about getting results. So many have said, Arsenal, it is time for them to break that long-awaited trophyless side, especially the English Premier League and the UEFA Champions League is what many of the fans are craving for. They are looking beyond the FA Cup or the Carling Cup, because to them, these are not the kind of a trophy that Arsenal should be gunning for. So we hope that with this victory against Newcastle United, that they have not beaten in their last 3 meetings at the St. James Park. Yesterday, that jinx was broken by Arsenal Football Club, and we hope that they can build on this. Cost of that 3 points, they have moved up to second position, closely following the leader, Liverpool, with a 2-point disparity. We hope that this is going to ginger Arsenal. Other result that came through over the weekend in the English Premier League saw Aston Villa smash Fulham 3-1. Newcastle United, like we told you, lost to Arsenal 2-1 in that very one. Brentford, in an early kickoff on Saturday, dismissed Manchester United 3-1. While Chelsea, yes, also lost at home to Brighton and Hove Albion 3-1. Crystal Palace, surprisingly as well, saw off Liverpool 2-1 with a late winner from the home side. Leeds United, they indeed united, but they could not disunite Bournemouth because they played a 2-2. Manchester City, they crushed Burnley 5-1. Nottingham Forest were taken to the Forest by Sunderland Football Club by 1-0. It ended in the favor of Sunderland. Tottenham Hotspur played 1-1 against Wolves in that particular one. Mr. Mba, some interesting results in the English Premier League over the weekend. Liverpool, the leaders, they lost surprisingly to Crystal Palace 2-1. Where did it went wrong for Ancelot's side?
Well, I always tell you that football is unpredictable. That is the most interesting thing about the game. You know, it's a suspense game. Nobody knows the outcome until the 90 minutes and the extra time. So I'm not surprised, because anything could happen. If the game is one-sided, I mean, it will no longer be interesting watching football. So when you see these surprises in English Premier League, like people always say that the most unpredicted league is English Premier League. So this is where you see a club that's going for relegation will win a top flight team in the table. So nothing is so surprising. It could happen to anything. It could be Man City, Arsenal, or any of them. So these are things we want in the Premier League. We need surprises. And when the game is unpredictable, it gives you that age for you to have interest in watching the game. Liverpool, they won the league last time, and this time around, if you see how they are firing, you will see that they have such intention again, retaining their title. But may it as it be, there will always be upset in the football league. That's the interesting part of it.
Brighton and Hove Albion, they had to brighten the faces of their fans when they saw off Chelsea at the bridge at 3-1. Are you surprised by the way Chelsea is going so far this season? 2 straight games, 2 straight cards, 2 losses. How will you describe Enzo Maresca's pattern?
Well, if you ask me, I will tell you that the coach has changed his formation and pattern of play. I think that's what is really affecting Chelsea. He has moved from a certain formation and the new formation is not really favoring him. And you know, certain players, what affects his results this time around is changes he makes at the middle time of the game. So I think Chelsea need to sit up, because if you ask me, they have the highest fan base here in Nigeria, and you know how the fans cry and talk a lot. So the coach need to sit up and get back his good formation, and be able to meet up at the English Premier League. If not, they are going to find it difficult this season, because so much expectation is awaiting them from their fans and the management of the club. So I think he has moved from his formation to another formation. That's my thinking.
For Manchester United, they were disunited by Brentford in an early kickoff. Is it time for Ruben Amorim to go, or still give him more time?
Well, the management said that they are not in a hurry with Ruben, because, you know, if you ask me, Manchester United has been the club that has sacked a whole number of coaches. They don't really have patience, and Amorim is not really doing well, because the traditional formation of the club has been displaced. I don't know what he's trying to do. Is he creating a new formation for them? And the formation doesn't suit the club. So I think that's the problem. If club like Brentford can defeat Man U, I mean, it has a lot to tell about the club. Man U has not been doing well. You remember their position in the last Premier League season, it wasn't a good one. And this season, you see, they have started again. So I was thinking at the end of Brentford Man U match, it would have been a done deal for Ruben from the management, but surprisingly the man is still there. So I think they are being patient and giving more time. Man U has really suffered their black trophy recently. They said the coach is the problem, from coach to players. You saw all the good players have been displaced and sold out in Man U, and new players has come. So people keep asking, what is Man U's problem? Well, if you ask me, they should look into Fernandes, because you know, it has a lot to do in the club. They should have a rethink about Fernandes, and if you ask me, Man U will actually move forward in that this and their formation should be back to the traditional formation for the club. That's my thinking.
All right, we'll wait and see what will happen to Ruben Amorim if he continues to get a poor result. But we can tell you that Ruben Amorim has failed to win a back-to-back English Premier League game since his appointment at the Old Trafford. And not a good result at all for the man. To the La Liga we move, because there were some surprising results as Atletico Madrid humbled Real Madrid in the Madrid derby over the weekend. 5-2 it ended in favor of Atletico Madrid, while Barca, of course, got past Real Betis 2-1 with that goal from Robert Lewandowski, who came off the bench to give Barca all 3 points. And of course, that takes Barca to the top of the summit, the top of the table, displacing Real Madrid as we speak right now. But then time might not permit us to go through the gamut in terms of other results and other footballing stories. Meanwhile, we'll make a return by 6 p.m. This evening. Then we'll have more time to dissect all these results. The Italian Serie A, French Ligue 1, Bundesliga, you know, as well, will also bring you some more interesting gist and the results. AC Milan as well were unsung last night because they beat Napoli, you know, in that very encounter. The old ladies were held to 1-1 draw by Atalanta in that very one, while Milan beat Cagliari, you know, over the weekend. In the evening, we'll take our time to, you know, dissect all of this. But Mr. Amba, it's been a pleasure having you joining us this morning.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
All right, at this point, this is where we'll draw the anchor for this morning edition of Sport Talk. Join us in the evening, 6 to 7 p.m., when we'll make a return for Sport Extraordinary. Then we talk about the extraordinary things in the world of sport. I did a show this morning alongside former Enyimba international player Mba Carlo. My name is Emmanuel Michael, the Prime Minister of the Airways, and we are saying have a very beautiful day ahead.